What is up, everybody? This is Invite Only, our own nerdy news, gospel gossip show. I am your host, that kid Flowers. Next to me, you have Cheeks_Junior, aka.
What's up?
I'm not
players?
done. I'm not done.
You said my name already.
No, I said your handle.
No, you said my name.
I said your handle.
No, you said my name.
Cheeks_Junior,
You said my name.
aka
Hey guys. How you doing?
Mike Doherty. How you doing?
I'm good.
That's all you got from me?
That's
You
all I'm
good?
gonna give you.
Okay, all right.
Hey, you wanted me to shut up? I'll shut up.
Been anything new? Anything you got going? Anything? No.
Just play everything.
Just play everything.
Going along.
Any games you been playing?
Yeah, I mean, Warzone. Been still on that Warzone. Every once in a while. Update just came out last night. Excited to jump into that.
Did they change anything?
Yeah, so they gave you some more guns to play with in the Gulag, and they gave you vaults. Now there's vaults in.
What's in the vaults? Like kind of like Apex vaults?
Kind of like Apex vaults. They've been in the game since day one, but you haven't been able to open them and go through them.
Why?
Just because they wanted to save it for update, I guess. Another
Okay.
30 gigabyte update.
So is it still? Was it season 3?
That game is over like 200. It's got to be in gigabytes. But yes.
Shit.
Wait, what'd you say?
No, so is it still like in season 3, or did they go season 4 yet? Or I don't know what's the
I believe it's season 3.
season 3 still? Okay.
Yeah, it's not like a new season or anything. But yeah, they added vaults and then there's a nuke. So they might nuke the map. Might be getting a new map pretty soon.
Like
so
a
I'm
nuke,
pretty
like
excited about
kill streak, or like?
No, like you could just see a nuke, like in one of the bunkers.
Oh.
So that means
Ooh.
I'm theorizing that it's gonna possibly be a new map. They're gonna nuke it and then we're just gonna start over,
Okay.
which is exciting. I'm ready for a new map.
Would you like them to add like a story to the Warzone? Couldn't care less for the
Yeah,
story.
it's not Apex. I mean, when you have characters
I
like
get
in
you.
Apex, it lends itself to more of a story, which is not really a story. And then in Warzone, it's Call of Duty. I mean, they kind of have a story actually. Now that I think of it,
Which is what?
to be honest, not really sure. A very typical
you
Call of
gonna throw
Duty
that out
story.
there?
But no, like at the beginning of each season, they have like a cutscene.
Oh, like a little like
Yeah,
kind of
they
intro.
do. And then like it introduces new operators.
Yeah, like they introduced an operator, so I would assume.
But
like,
it's not
maybe
operators.
they could do something with
they're
that.
skins. Basically, they're basically people that you can then play as the Black Lady.
I mean, they could use that though, right? They can drop some new operators and tell a story. If they
yeah,
really
but like
wanted to.
operators aren't operators like in Apex. Like Apex, each one does a specific thing. They each do.
Yeah,
They each do like a
Like
specific
unique.
power up. Yeah, unique to abilities, things like that. Whereas in Warzone, it's kind of like skins. Like this is a new skin. It's kind of like Fortnite. Like Fortnite's like new operator. No, it's a new skin.
have you bought any skins?
No.
Boo.
No, I mean, there's not
Still
really
default?
skins that are like super crazy. Yeah, I am a no skin. Hardcore no skin.
Boo. Well, me. Thanks for asking. I've played some Apex. You know, season
Didn't
4.
ask.
Yeah, no, season 5. Yeah, you did. I heard you.
No.
Season 5 Apex. Not really messing with the new character. Really just trying to get good at my own character. Crypto, gang, squad up.
You changed your character because you weren't
no,
always
look-
crypto.
I've been crypto since season 3. In season 5 now.
Interesting.
So it's like I maybe never like played crypto with you a lot, but like that's my character.
Who was your character before crypto?
Watson. I think she came season 2.
I feel like that was short lived.
It was short lived. She was good, but like I don't know. I feel like it's a different like skill.
Did we
level.
talk about this last week? The update at all? Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, we talked about that in Tony Hawk. Well, anything else to add before we get into some news?
No, we going straight into news, man. That was a quick intro.
Was it?
Keep going.
Fuck! I left the housekeeping. All right, let me get the housekeeping out the way.
It's
So-
it's a bad intro when he doesn't introduce his own producer. Look at
This
that.
guy always got to interject himself. You know what I
This
mean?
guy had to
Always,
get his 2
always.
cents.
You know how many
in.
times we forgot Tambo? Tambo didn't say a goddamn thing.
Well, you know
Well,
what? Call
introduce
me
it.
a clout chaser.
I want you to
Call me
introduce
whatever.
yourself. Who are you? You're just talking now. No one knows who you are.
My name is Adrian. I am the show's producer.
Your name is Mr. Dabs.
no. It's
And if
it's-
anything runs super slow, blame him and harass him.
Yeah.
If anything,
I'm your
if we're
phone
like,
guy.
hey, we should pull this up, and it takes 3 hours,
You know
that's
it's me.
Adrian.
but yeah, I'm the show's producer. I'll be chiming in from time to time, give my 2 cents.
All right, don't ask for a bio.
Yeah.
Well, our producer at the end of this show, or maybe during the show, he's going to be looking in the chat, reading some of your comments. So definitely feel free to drop a lot in the chat, drop some sparks. I know this isn't for the YouTube guys, but drop some sparks if you're live, because I appreciate you. Thank you very much. You can listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, all those podcast services. And
Leave a review.
leave a
You
review.
sons of bitches.
Definitely subscribe and follow if I haven't said that already enough before I get out this intro. I feel like I said enough.
Good news. Donald Trump is following us on Mixer.
Speaking of news, let's get into some news. Shout out to Donald Trump. Psych. Don't do that.
I appreciate you,
Can I
Donald.
unblock? Can I block him?
Don't block him.
Don't
We
block
need,
Donald.
we need the
I'm
subscribers.
just playing. I love you,
We need
Donald.
the subscribers.
This Donald. It's a different Donald. Let's get into some news. Let me get out this.
Someone's clipping
You
that.
keep wrapping me up, man.
I love you, Donald.
This Donald.
Clip that. Put it on Twitter.
New Unreal 5 has been announced, and we've seen a little bit of gameplay. Quick
Gameplay
little
for not
snippet.
a game.
Yeah, it's a gameplay with the game that was created for this demo. So I mean, it's not really a game, but it's gameplay, right?
More than the Xbox conference.
I was just about to say you beat me to it. Go ahead, so look at this.
The portal, it's open.
I mean,
Don't fail me now.
how long is this?
It's about a minute.
We can talk over it? Or
Have you seen this already?
yes.
Okay, we can talk over it.
But yeah, so I mean, looks amazing, right?
Super smooth.
I've been fooled by tech demos before, though. I feel like everything looks like this at the beginning of like every fucking generation.
But we're talking about Unreal. Unreal 4 is solid, clearly. So like, I don't feel like this would be necessarily like a sham as far as what the possibilities of Unreal 5 could be.
No, I bet Unreal 4 looked very different in the beginning than at the end. You know? Same thing with like. Do you remember the Killzone 2 announcement?
I haven't. Only Killzone I played was 3.
Hold on.
That was only a little bit.
Okay. Well, we'll go back to that. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt and cut to that. But
You're fine,
the
you're fine.
Killzone 2 like announcement,
Yeah.
looked like PS4 graphics. Like, it was ridiculous. And everybody was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. The PS3 could do so much. And then you just cut to when Killzone came out, the Killzone 2 came out, and it was nothing like it. So I don't get too hyped up for these tech demos.
Okay, so going to this article, right? It says Unreal 5 will promise to deliver photorealism on par with CG in real life. And I know that video maybe not have been like the cleanest or the clearest, especially for those watching them. But of course, you can search this on your own. You can definitely see, like, even on 1080, or if you're I don't know if that's a 4K video or not on YouTube, but if you watch that in 4K, you can just definitely see. And I don't know if you've seen like the little light demo where they have the light bouncing around and how like real the rock looked. Mm-hmm. That shit's crazy. And then we had some developers even getting in on it, because like that's who I want to be hyped more than me, for sure. I want these people that are going to be making these games to be more hyped than I am. So we had some developers. We had Naughty Dog's Corey Balrog say some things. Let me pull up this tweet from Ed Boon, because I don't know if you know who Ed Boon is. But
I know who Ed Boon is.
You know who Ed Boon is?
Yeah, classic more
NetherRealm director, MK co-developer, right? My man said, you youngsters, I remember when Unreal was a game, not a game engine. This makes me excited for the realm he's in, just fighting games, because that's my shit. I could only imagine like how smooth fighting games could look, how gory, especially a game like MK could possibly be, with like an Injustice, right? How clean that shit could be. This shit hypes me up. I'm not gonna lie. This shit really hypes me up. And like I said, I'm really happy to see that these developers are really getting in on it.
I mean, are we? I feel like we're gonna get to a point where games look so realistic that it's gonna make people uncomfortable.
Why would that make people uncomfortable?
I mean, when you're stabbing someone, you know, through the chest, and it's like ultra realistic.
So like,
I feel like there's gonna be some issues. This where it almost gets too real to the point to where it's like they almost have to dial it back a little bit.
So what
to
you're saying
give you a
is
sense of not realism.
So what you're saying is video game leads to violence?
That's exactly what I'm saying. I feel like going shooting up school right now. You know what I mean?
What? So what you mean? You were against that point every time you?
No, I'm just kidding.
Talked about
That's
it.
not the point I was making at all. But
What's
I'm
the
saying that things are going to get so realistic where it's going to make you uncomfortable killing somebody.
You don't like real things? You
No,
watch TV?
I
Do you
feel
like
like,
when TV
I
looks
feel
really
like
realistic?
there going to be a point where it's going to be so realistic where it makes people uncomfortable.
Why would that be I'm saying, like, why would that be a thing?
It happens with AI. It happens with robots now. Like, this is an actual theory out there where it is something gets so realistic that makes people uncomfortable, like AI, like robots. Like if you see a super realistic robot that you can barely tell the difference from real life to it being a robot.
Maybe I'm weird then. Do you feel like you'd be that person that gets uncomfortable with a really
No,
good game?
I mean, yeah, I mean, depending especially if we start going toward like the VR, like shit starts looking like this in VR and shit. Like,
Yeah.
that's something that's definitely stabbing a person could definitely make you feel a little uncomfortable.
I mean, I could definitely see how that could be mentally, like, affecting.
Yeah.
But I mean, and what do they do? Like, keep games at a cap for realism?
I don't know. I
there
don't
a
even
cap
know
to
if this
graphics?
theory is true, right? But I do think it's an interesting discussion where it's like that shit looks dope. Like that, it looks amazing, right? But again, it's a game engine. I assume games at the end of the generation,
Yeah.
of the PS5 and the Xbox Series X are gonna look like that. I don't think we're gonna get that off the top.
That's a good prediction. I can see that because
Yeah.
of course, like you want these developers because this is so new. So of course, it's not going to be like super like smooth right out the gates with these launch games.
Yeah, I mean, look at Killzone Mercenary compared to The Last of Us 2 coming out, right?
Yeah, that's a big jump.
Launch title to the end of the generation.
Yeah.
I just feel like this is how it is every year. Like Killzone 2 will look like something on the PS4, and then a lot of the things that they tech demo with. Like I remember at the PS4 launch announcement, the developer behind Detroit Become Human. Why is it slipping my tongue?
No,
No,
not
they did a tech demo where it's like a person, like an old guy, and it looks super real, and it was a little uncomfortable. And that's kind of what we're getting at the end of this generation now, right? Ooh. And that was showed off in the beginning. I feel like that's just how it is every time. Is they do these super specific tech demos, and then we don't really get that at the beginning, or really the middle. We kind of get that more at the end.
I agree, but I don't know. I got high hopes for this. I don't know what studios have already touched this, especially since these consoles are on the horizon. It's supposed to be coming out. Like, how long have they really been playing with Unreal 5? Because of course this has been around for sure, but they're just now announcing it. How much development have they had with this before we get the actual games?
I would be interested in that, and I would want to know if what developers use Unreal right now. Like, I know Fortnite,
Of course, every Epic game.
You think Fortnite's gonna look like this?
I know
Fortnite 2?
Fortnite could look like because they already have an art style. Like Fortnite is all artsy. I know a couple fighting games. I know Soul Calibur uses Unreal.
Does Mortal Kombat use Unreal?
I believe so. I believe they use Unreal 4. I know a couple car games do.
I know Adrian's looking it up right now.
Appreciate you, baby.
Yeah.
But why?
Interesting. It says that Final Fantasy VII remake runs on Unreal Engine 4.
On Unreal 4?
Yeah, I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, wow. Darwin Project, pretty popular battle royale
Whack.
runs.
Not a fan.
Never played it. Shenmue 3, excuse me.
Shenmue 3?
Yeah.
And obviously this Unreal 4, so that's the 3 games he just named is a very wide spectrum of games. So all because you have something that could look like this doesn't mean it's going to look like this.
Gears 5 actually runs on Unreal Engine 4.
I mean, even if we take pieces of what Unreal can do, like maybe it's not going to be as graphically intensive, but more so like with the light or with the water effect, right? Like where you have those smooth transitions.
Yeah, we're gonna have ray tracing, shit like that.
Yeah.
Like that. That's just kind of what comes with this next gen. But like graphics don't really hype me. Like you can't really get me with graphics. Like
I used to be that person, and then I got burned by a couple games, so now I'm not that person. But outside of, like I said, just visually, I mean, this is all visual, so it's even hard to say outside of visually.
would you mind? I know we got a little tweets pulling up here, but Adrian, would you be able to look up Killzone 2 announcement video?
Oh, you want to see that trailer?
Yeah, you don't have to put on the volume or anything for us. I just want everybody to see how good this looked, especially at the time.
Is that the reveal? The real video?
Yeah, reveal video.
Killzone 2 reveal. You're saying it looked like PS4 games now, like a God of War type visually, or maybe in a Spider-Man visually.
Yeah, no, it looked.
Or maybe a Modern Warfare visual.
We'll give him a minute. No, it was. I just remember seeing it at the time and being like, "Oh, this is the Halo killer. Like, this is the Halo killer. Oh my gosh, Halo's not gonna look this good." And Killzone 2 looked good, but it just didn't look like this. Oh my god, look at that old IGN logo. That's old school. Old school.
You know, it's old school when the video is capped at 360p.
Yeah, 360p.
I hate when videos are like that now when I scroll through YouTube.
What's going on? Yeah, so again, this was a PS3 near the beginning of the launch.
Beginning of PS3, where everything was capped at 1080. Oh, that looked pretty good.
Again, think back to PS3 and how like this would look.
You know, that's hard to say when you're looking at something like this.
Not even now, it looks decent.
And it doesn't look bad, don't get me wrong, but
Like seeing that kind of like city and shit, like at the time, I just remember it being like mind blowing, and then like how real.
You gotta keep in mind, is this pre-rendered or is this in-engine footage?
this is 2005.
This is pre-rendered.
It's pre-rendered.
Yeah,
right?
they said it was in-game. I remember they got caught.
Yeah, pre-rendered is always 100% of the time.
Yeah, no, they got caught. So look, they said this was gameplay the whole time.
He said they got caught.
Yeah, they got caught red-handed. But I just remember seeing this and being like, oh my gosh, this is unreal.
I think it's pretty obvious. I mean, I guess for someone who didn't know what the game would look like, but I mean, looking at it right now, it looks pretty obvious that it's pre-rendered.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I don't even know what that
Super
means.
obvious.
But
It just means that they rendered, they let the computer render what's happening before. It's like a process
cutscene.
video. Yeah.
It's a cutscene instead of being like gameplay footage.
yeah. This clearly looks like a cutscene. What?
Yeah, I know.
Why would they lie about
We
this?
got it. We got it. Back in the day, everybody thought it was actual gameplay. But my point is
Yeah.
this was not essentially what we got. Now, and again, we're looking at this in like what 2020p
This
or
is
like
360.
220p.
If at most, yeah, something like
So
that.
again, it doesn't do it 100% justice. That trailer still does look gorgeous though. If you're able to find it in 1080. Again, not like this. Obviously,
It looked good. Like you definitely see a lot of detail on the faces, and you can see a lot of like background in the city that you were pointing out. I can see how that might have been really big. That reminds me of a couple scenes from Gears of War, which I feel like came out around that time. When you can like they were in the helicopter and they always fly to different points in the city in Gears of War. But Gears of War's graphics have always been really good too, so it's not really saying much in comparison to Killzone 2.
yeah.
But this is a tweet that I saw that I thought was pretty interesting because this was a PS5 demo. But then you have Phil Spencer here. He wanted to add his little 2 cents in. Of course, this is going to be playable on both consoles. Like, why not? But of course, this was never stated in the Unreal 5 demo. So Phil Spencer says, incredible work by team at Epic. Unreal Engine, many of our XGS studios are using Unreal, like the team at Ninja Theory, creating Hellblade 2, and are excited to bring these Unreal 5 innovations to the life of the Xbox Series X. Do you think they're going to use a lot more of this engine compared to Sony?
Yes, Xbox 100%. Like that's why I was shocked that this was like they were showing it on PS5, which makes my original theory of it running more efficiently, right? It's not necessarily more powerful. It's not more powerful than the Xbox, but like Apple products, right? It runs more efficiently. Whereas like a PC is like you can have all this decked out stuff, but it does many different things, right? And it's not necessarily fine tuned each, your graphics card and this and that and the processor. It's not all in the RAM. It's not all super fine tuned to be able to do one thing. Whereas Sony went for the approach of, okay, we're going to dial back the power a little bit, not even that much, but a little bit, and it's going to run a lot more efficient. Which more efficient means it's going to run games better. It's going to look better because it's finely tuned for that.
Yeah.
Just like Apple products, right?
Yeah.
So that's why it was weird that they showed it on PlayStation. Other than probably it runs probably a little bit better. You can probably push a little tiny bit more out of PlayStation. I'm not saying that it's not a deal breaker.
Yeah.
Like if you're looking between the two, I wouldn't say PS4 runs more efficient or Xbox is more powerful. That's not the deal breaker. Do not buy your console off that. But I would say that Xbox is. Oh, they already use it. Their game, like you said, Gears already uses it.
They already been using
Ninja
it.
Theory uses it. They use
Studios
Unreal
are
4
definitely
as well.
more familiar with it.
Whereas PlayStation uses first-party engines, like Guerrilla's engine, Guerrilla
Frostbite,
Games'
shit
engine.
like that, yep.
Yeah, that's all in-house, right? Nobody else uses PlayStation engines other than PlayStation developers.
Are you guys familiar with DirectX?
No.
Do you guys know what that is?
No,
Mikey?
I do not.
What is DirectX?
So DirectX it's pretty much it's like a layer, the groundwork on Microsoft or Windows platform. So when you're playing PC games, DirectX pretty much is what interacts with the game or whatever. In layman's terms, it's pretty much what allows all those different parts that PCs have, because obviously not every PC is the same like a PS4 and Xbox. It's built into the Microsoft Windows operating system, so it allows the PC to interact with all those different configurations, all those thousands and thousands of different configurations of processors, gaming cards, graphics cards, or stuff like that.
I need you to wrap this up.
No, so the point I'm getting at is Xbox Series X is going to be running on DirectX 12 Ultimate, which is the groundwork for Windows, which is also going to be the groundwork for the new Series
So you're trying
X.
to say I'm wrong?
No, what I'm trying to say is that I think the Unreal Engine is going to run even dramatically better on the new Xbox.
Yeah, I feel like the fact that the Xbox is so overspec'd in a sense, it gives them a little more wiggle room to really fuck with the game. and what
Yeah,
the game
but
can
I
really
mean,
do.
again, I don't know a ton about DirectX. I assume.
Yeah, I don't know.
I assume what you're saying is that it's basically fine tuning. It's basically like a fine tuning
autocorrect?
for.
Yeah, so it just allows, because there's thousands and thousands of configurations for a PC, right? So
Yeah.
graphic or game developers can't develop for every single configuration, so they develop for
Correct.
DirectX, which allows
That's different, though. I do think that is different in terms of a fine, to where the actual hardware itself is fine tuned to run whatever you're playing on it. But again, that is interesting though in terms of the DirectX, because I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, and then I have this last tweet here where it's pretty much Jeff Keighley stating that it's going to be a hot summer. We're probably going to see a lot more of these gameplays from the Inside Xbox, maybe even State of Plays, or I don't know if Bethesda or EA is going to have any virtual content during summer. But it sounds like this is going to be a lot more showcases what the hardware is going to look like with 8K graphics and maybe using some of the Unreal 5 in some games and stuff like that. So it's definitely reassuring to hear that. Of course, it's going to be both consoles. Now, it all depends on who's going to be running more strong and what games or PS5 are going to have that runs this. Haven't heard anything about PS5, but they came out recently saying they're going to have a game lineup soon. They're going to announce a game lineup soon for PS5. The last couple games that they have announced since the PS5 has even been announced, we have Last of Us 2, which isn't even for the PS5. Death Stranding, Humanity, which they did announce last year during the State of Play, which was a VR game. I don't know if you remember. It's kind of it was all bluish, and you kind of have control over what the humans do. Ghost of Tsushima, Marvel Avengers was another game that was announced by PlayStation. They kind of said back in 2019, but we haven't really seen much gameplay. By Crystal Dynamics was the developers, I believe.
Wait, so you're listing off?
I'm just listing off the games that PlayStation has talked about because they said they're going to announce some more PS5 announcements. But I'm saying we haven't had any games or any games to be talk about from PS5 or even honestly the PS4 besides Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima for about, a year almost, 6 months?
Yep.
Since 2019, once they had that last State of Play where they announced all this stuff. And I'm just saying, these are the couple games we have got. They said Godfall was a confirmed game for PS5, but we only had one gameplay trailer, but it was looked a little more Devil May Cry-ish.
Yeah.
It was more hack and slashy for sure, Devil May Cry-ish. I didn't put a gameplay video in here. I should have. I feel like you would have.
No, you're good. I know. Godfall. That did look really good, but again, to me, it's just not about looks. I need to see. It's about games. You can have a pretty painted game, a pretty game.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's a good game.
Article says Sony corporate strategy meeting. The company said it plans to introduce a compelling lineup of titles soon for the new platform. Going to your point, you can have these really good games, but I forgot what your point was. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, you have a pretty game, but it doesn't make it a good game.
Yeah. Do you think we're gonna have? Are you excited for this? Do you think we're gonna get a lot more new shit?
I'm excited for them to announce something, right? Because we haven't got anything from PlayStation.
You're the biggest Sony pony I know, and I feel like you just haven't had anything to really rile about as far as Sony.
Because they haven't given you. They got the controller. Okay, to me, I don't really give a fuck. I played on the PS3 controller for a decade.
Yeah.
I don't really give a fuck about what a controller feels like, to be honest. But yeah, and then they kind of gave us some specs, and then with a really boring press conference by Mark Cerny, which was fine. It's just he's not the most exciting speaker.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't really have anything. At least I know I have Halo with, and then I guess we have Godfall with PlayStation, but
that's a new IP. We don't even know if we're gonna be into that.
I'm excited though. I like new IP, especially at launch.
Yeah, of course.
I think it's a ballsy move to launch
With
new
the new
IP at launch of a console. Now, there are rumors of a PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale 2.
You think we're gonna get some of that?
From what I'm hearing, It is going to be
sauce in the bucket?
a PS5 launch title or around launch window.
Hmm.
But it's developed by Capcom, so I'm not super excited about it.
Capcom's good at making fighting games. You
Yeah,
don't like-
but it's going to be more like a fighter instead of like a battle royale.
Oh, you want more like a...
I need a Smash Brothers.
What'd you think of the first one?
That's what I think.
I loved it.
Really?
Yeah, one of my favorite games. Platinumed it in a night.
I
Platinumed it in less than 24 hours.
He used to
did
talk
not
about this
like
game
it.
all the time.
I didn't like it at all.
I never played
Well, you have bad taste.
at
You know what I mean?
360.
Well, I mean, I come from someone who.
Yeah, likes PlayStation All-Star Battle
Yeah,
Royale, the
yeah.
greatest battle royale of all time.
I'm
Oh.
dead.
Not
Just
even
kidding.
close.
But I love that game. That game, I think they did a lot of great things, and I also think they had a couple missteps. But I also don't think, every Smash Brothers game has been like flawless.
Yeah, I mean, all the games have their hiccups, and not all Smashes were great. I mean, they were fun for sure because
Yeah.
of the general idea, but
PlayStation
Some
All-Stars
issues.
was fun.
I believe it because if it's anything like Smash, then for sure it'd be fun, especially when you have like that many characters in one game. Like you have your Kratos and your Little Big Planet mascot Bean Baby.
Sackboy?
That's what his name was.
Yeah, come on, bro.
Look,
Don't know
I'm sorry.
Sackboy?
My bad. Look, see, this is why I knew he was hyping him up. He's Sony pony.
Don't know Sir Dan Fortescue? Don't know about him?
Who?
Parappa?
Rapper, the rapper?
Yeah, come on.
Oh, you have a little T-shirt.
you
You a real fan. That's who that's from.
I love PlayStation.
I
can I
believe
say?
you. I'm not hyped for this event though. I
You're
don't
not
know.
hyped?
I'm not hyped.
Look.
I feel like we're gonna get some VR shit because they've been low key pushing that on the subtle tip with the new Iron Man, but especially with the Oculus being a really big boom over quarantine. I feel like that's definitely what we're gonna get.
Look. If there's one thing PlayStation is masters at, it's hype.
This guy.
Look, I'm being
Clearly
100%
right.
real.
Clearly right.
Look at what Xbox did with their fucking games reveal, and then look at what PlayStation's done with any of their games reveal. Like they are hyped now. Obviously, in the direct, we haven't seen a ton of hype because
Yeah.
they haven't really hyped it up.
Well, I think it's interesting because this year, because of Corona, a lot of little game events got canceled, and a lot of those times Sony did plan to attend. I know GDC was one of the recent ones I knew that got canceled, and then Sony has always attended to those, and they've always announced something. I think was it 2018 or 2019? That was when they announced Days Gone at GDC. So maybe Sony wants to do something. Like I said, this is a corporate plan, so maybe they're just stuck behind this Corona. They don't know how to make a move, and maybe they're just gonna say fuck it. We're just gonna do our own thing.
Yeah.
I'm not hyped behind it because I feel like it's gonna be rushed, and I feel like the Xbox, it's gonna be like really like heavily anticipated. Everyone's gonna be looking to get something, and we're just gonna be disappointed in the end.
Look, first of all, Sony is master of playing from behind in terms of seeing what Xbox does and learning from it, as we've seen with the PS4, Xbox One reveal.
Yeah.
Where it was PlayStation, Xbox came out, they showed the price, people were like, okay, that's a little bit expensive, and then PlayStation comes out and undercuts them and says, you don't have to, have that DRM lock on your games where you can't share your games. And then they took shots across the bow with this is how you share a PlayStation game, right? And then he hands it to Shuhei, handing it to
Yeah.
Adam Boyce. So they were very good at this, this playing from behind in terms of let's see what they do, and then we're gonna make it 10 times better. And first of all, they were first out the gate with the announcement of PS4, and I don't know if you remember that event. That was one of the most hype events.
You bring this event up a lot. How they invented everybody, all the reporters to I guess the building, and
It is burned into my memory
Last
watching
minute.
that press conference because I remember watching IGN and then being like, "Oh, we all got invitations to this place in New York," and then they all flying out, and you see all them on Twitter, tweeting out, "We're at this restaurant, we're doing this." It was cool to see it as part of an industry, right?
Yeah.
And then the event starts. They live stream it. It had awesome songs in terms of the hype montage that you always get. They brought out pretty much damn near every developer you can think of. Coming out there saying that they're developing something. You got Nate Fox from Sucker Punch. They're talking about all these. You got Media Molecule out there doing weird shit, and it was just super, super cool to see. And then they PS4. This is PS4. This is essentially the coming out party for PS4.
Yeah.
And then Xbox does their event, and it is a disaster. Whereas that's going down as one of the greatest fails in gaming history in terms of sports, TV. Remember? Remember one of the big selling points they try to do is it works as a DVR box as well, a
Yeah.
cable box.
Yeah. And then it was
In the Kinect.
yeah, where's my game?
There was another one, and then it was just like,
The
okay,
Kinect was
we have
kinda
Madden,
fun.
but there's no games. Whereas Sony came out and they like made it this thing, and I remember people were excited. I remember seeing all these reports and like all the after videos of we got hands on with this and blah blah blah. So that's what Sony. My point is, Sony's the master of hype. So if nobody can do it, Sony can.
I kind of feel like they've dropped the ball a little bit with the PS5 though. I mean,
I kind of agree to that.
They had this huge, like, they built up so much hype. I agree. I think the PS4 reveal announcement, even leading up to E3, once they had that announcement, I think they did everything right. I mean, announcement for announcement, everything they did was executed perfectly. Even up to after E3 releasing that video. I don't know if you guys remember of them releasing that video of the used games.
Yeah, we just talked about that.
You mentioned the
The sharing.
Yeah.
Where he hands it to him.
So stuff like that, and I mean, Xbox completely dropped the ball. I mean, the used game policy, the design of it, God, it was horrible. I mean, it looked like a DVR, to be honest.
Yeah. Look, like a VHS player.
Yeah.
I mean,
it
given
just
what
didn't help.
Inside Xbox was, it's not like Sony has something hard to follow up with. So I for sure think it's going to be better than what the Inside Xbox presentation was that we got.
Well, that's not hard to do.
I mean, definitely because they didn't have a lot to do. So it's like I said, it's definitely I can see it being better than that. So at least you're gonna have some feeling of satisfaction there if you're gonna wake up, especially if you have to wake up at 8:00 in the morning.
Fucking disaster. Well, look, I'm excited to see what they announce. Sony has the best staple of first-party studios, so I have no doubt
agree.
that there are gonna be some bangers.
Well, they said this event was gonna happen sometime in June. Which is right before Xbox's next launch of some Inside Xboxes in July. So definitely some competition. I'm glad to see they're still doing this, the rivalry, because where would we be if this stopped everything? Next piece of news. You're a big Rainbow Six guy, right?
Yeah, I enjoy it. Yes.
So you would say you would recognize this game. You're a very big fan of the game, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you heard. Ubisoft recently sues Google and Apple over this Rainbow Six clone that's on the mobile stores, right?
On the mobile. Mm-hmm.
On the mobile stores. Suing the big platforms instead of the developer because they want to pretty much squash this game out of existence and try to mitigate how many people can actually get their hands on this. Go ahead and play this video because I want you to see exactly how close this is.
Yeah. Off the tops, it looks identical.
Right?
Oh my God, this looks exact.
Right, okay. So
Right?
This is funny.
top floor.
This is just some
Okay,
random
front back.
YouTuber.
This is exactly what Rainbow Six is. Like
This is the exact same game.
Let's just
They
get
just
3
changed the
points.
this
Bro.
Oh my God, I can't imagine playing this on mobile.
Ubisoft in this article
Bro, this is
from,
the same map. This is the same China, like the
This is actually a
Chinese
map
house
in-
Yeah, this is exactly one of the same maps.
Right, I've got my.
So this article from Kotaku, Ubisoft said Area F2, which is the name of this game. This is the clone game. I don't know if it's still on the App Store. I don't even know if you can still play it or not. Is a near carbon copy of Rainbow Six Siege. Ubisoft claims that virtually every aspect of AF2 is copied from Rainbow Six, from the operator selection to the final screen, everything in between, which you just proved their point being that's pretty much the same map. I think that's even ridiculous that even Google would even allow something like that to happen. But I do think it's interesting that they chose to sue Google and Apple versus suing I think it's some random Chinese company that they sold this to.
Can't really sue the Chinese company, right? These
Yeah.
are Chinese.
Yeah, so they said they didn't want to sue because legal rights in China is a little bit different than the U.S., so they went straight for Google
That's what
and
they
Apple.
go for.
I didn't think about it like that.
That's what they do. I mean, that's what Huawei is built off of, is copying Apple. Like,
Really?
yeah, the Huawei is crazy.
I'm out the phone game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I run a tech show,
You the man to talk to.
every Thursday over at 10 a.m. YouTube.com/play
We got,
everything. Tech Fever, me and Kevin Quello.
Mr. Know-It-All over here.
Yeah.
This is the guy to talk to.
come on.
But I don't know. I wanted to bring this to you because I wanted to hear how you felt about, one, them suing them, and two, just seeing how much this game really looked like one of your favorite games.
Yeah, no, it looked identical. They deserve to be wiped off the platform. Like, that is like a straight up, like, that map is in Rainbow Six. Like, pretty much verbatim, it just looks shittier because it's on a fucking phone. And then shittier controls because you're on a fucking phone. The one thing that was different was like the jump. It was a little different. It seems a little faster. But I guess you have to be since you're on a phone.
On a mobile,
Yeah. Because you don't want to be fucking slow and chugging around. But other than that, everything looked exactly the same. Like the little drones going around, going through the little vents.
I remember
the vents
playing
looked
with you
exactly
and
the
doing
same.
something like that. That's why I was all like, oh shit.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't even know about this game. That's funny.
Check it out. Yeah.
Chinese at it again. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Clip that. Can we clip that?
Yeah,
No, don't clip that.
Clip that.
Clip the Donald thing.
Use the Donald thing. If you ever wants to use that against me, I'm gonna use that, and it's gonna be real balanced. All right, I'm gonna go to the next piece of news. I want to hear what you had to say about that. A little quick tidbit. Going back to what I was talking about with that July event from Xbox.
Yep.
Xbox, they kept saying, I don't know if you've been following them on Twitter, but they said they keep checking in on 343 and Halo. And Halo, they said is going to be one of the first mini titles that's shown during this July event. So
Thank God.
guaranteed going to get some Halo shit, maybe because they know they dropped the ball for sure. So they're going to have to bring it back with something. Do you think this is enough? Do you think this is enough?
343 and what'd you say? Who else are they dropping in on?
And it was just 343.
Sure. I think
Microsoft
they're really
checking in with
banking
them.
a lot on this game, and I don't. Hey, 343 is not really a Naughty Dog. They're more of a.
Yeah.
They're more of a.
Who else
like
are they
Ben.
looking at? I
Like
feel
they're
they
more of a
have-
Ben studio to me. Like they're more of like a good developer, but like they're not industry leading in terms
Yeah.
of a Naughty Dog or a Sucker
They're not
Punch.
number
or
grabbers.
yeah.
They're not really
Actually,
selling like
not even
that.
Sucker Punch. I would say they're more of a Sucker Punch, where they do good games.
Sucker Punch.
They're definitely. Who developed the original Halos? Was it
That was Bungie.
Bungie?
Bungie. But
Definitely
343 is like a Bungie branch.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's different. I feel like I wouldn't say most developers, but I feel like there's some branches from even like Sony Santa Monica, right? Where they have different things that they incubate, work with other studios with, but it's still not going to be like a anything else besides decent. You know what I mean? At least for the meantime.
Yeah.
I mean, the last Halo did not get good response.
No, Halo 5 was ass.
Xbox always seems to bank on a Halo. If you think about, Halo 3, ODST, Halo 5.
I mean, that's kind of all they had, along with Gears and.
They can't even rely on
Yeah.
Gears because Gears just came out, Gears 5, and I'm sure they haven't got enough down to launch
even
another
then,
one.
They're fine games. I don't think.
That's like all they have.
I know people hate on me because it's in terms of like I talk about Naughty Dog like they're this revolutionary studio, which they are, but a lot of people are like they do the same thing just in different skins, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It's like no, I feel like Uncharted. Well, first of all, Jack and Daxter, right? To Jack and Daxter 2 to Jack and Daxter, like they were big jumps in terms of like this is crazy. It has a day-night cycle. Like it was one of the first games with a day-night cycle. And then like into Uncharted, and then okay, it was all right. I wouldn't say it's the best like revolutionary thing ever, but then you got like Uncharted 2, which was like it before Uncharted 1 was compared to Tomb Raider. Now Tomb Raider is compared to Uncharted with Uncharted 2.
Right.
Because like how amazing and the set pieces and everything, the action and the story that they put together, and then it's just the storytelling throughout all of them, right? And then with 343, I feel like it's just like let's kind of pick up where Bungie left off, and like Xbox in general is let's just not change. Let's just keep doing the same thing over and over again and not have any kind of jump in anything that we
Well,
do.
I mean, I could arguably say the same thing about Sony because what risk have Sony taken outside of that? I think Death
Horizon
Stranding
Zero
was
Dawn?
probably the biggest risk. Horizon Zero Dawn is what? A different concept, but the same gameplay mechanics from similar games?
You're taking a Killzone developer who did first-person shooters to go do a RPG that is actually the most unique idea in terms of end of the world, but it's like not the end of the world.
So wait,
it's
wait,
like
wait.
way after the end of the world.
So is it game or industry leading because they grabbed it from a different type of studio that never made these types of
No,
games?
it's industry leading because of the engine that they had, right?
Yeah.
In terms of the actual graphics. I'd say the actual mechanics and the way that you interact with the world and the story of the game is completely unique. Like, especially the story, it's completely unique to anything that I've seen.
Okay.
A movie or any
I haven't
games.
played, so I can't really argue as far as too much I can go back with.
If we go back to Infamous, right? Infamous, I feel like revolutionized what a superhero game looked like because we got all these bad licensing
Infamous
games.
did change a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
Infamous changed a lot, and then you had that knockoff Infamous come out like right
Prototype?
too. Yeah, Prototype.
I fucking love
Garbage.
Prototype too, so fuck you.
Garbage. No, Infamous did a lot more for what that looked like, right? I felt like Infamous laid the ground for something like a Spider-Man, right? And then
Definitely
you had
changed
God
the
of
way Spider-Man
War,
could look.
right? The original God of Wars, where it was like, oh my god, this like video games are adult. Like they're adult video games. It's not just Jack and Daxter and Crash Bandicoot,
Yeah,
right?
cussing and
I feel
shit.
like Sony's fingerprints, like in terms of their studios, are all over this fucking industry. In terms of the games that they actually did.
agree.
Halo.
I agree.
Hey, now Halo did revolutionize the shooter.
Multiplayer wise, though, I don't think it was anything revolutionary outside of like story or even like
Even the
gameplay
shooter,
mechanics.
The actual mechanic, it felt tighter. I mean, think about it. Halo was before Call of Duty really became like poppin'. Mm-hmm. So it was like,
Yeah, I'm not saying Halo didn't change things, but I'm saying multiplayer wise, I feel like was the biggest change they had on the industry.
Yeah, obviously that the Xbox had the biggest effect.
Yeah.
In overall multiplayer on the industry. That is a fact.
Yeah.
But in terms of like I said, I could keep going back and naming game after game in terms of like the influence that it actually had.
I'm not. Look, my point is that Sony is used to maybe taking a mechanic they've had in previous games. Like I would say that Horizon Zero Dawn. Not that I've said like I haven't played the game, so I haven't really experienced all these mechanics.
I bet
and
you
things
would
like
like
that.
that game.
I feel like I would too. But to me, it looks like a combination of something like maybe a prototype or Infamous plus some elements from like a Assassin's Creed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. Like, no. Like, the mechanics, there's only so much we can do with mechanics at this point.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you're not going to get anything revolutionary. But, like, think about it. Death Stranding has a lot of the same mechanics, but it's completely in a different world of its own.
Yeah. That's something
Like, it's different.
But it was a big risk that Sony took.
Yeah.
I haven't seen them take that type of risk with too many other games, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Where
like
Xbox
I
is
said, I
kinda
feel like The
doing that.
Last of Us was a risk. A zombie game. Remember when The Last of Us came out? There was a zombie game in the middle of all these zombie games. Like, there's a shit ton of zombie games.
Last of Us did hold its own name in the middle of all those, like Dead or
Yeah.
Alive, Left 4 Dead,
Dreams.
Dead Paradise. Dreams
Like that.
changed the industry.
I wouldn't say change the industry, but I'm saying is a risk, right?
Yeah.
I think our conversation swift to the risk that they've taken, right?
I wouldn't even say that changed a little bit, though. But yeah, it is a risk. It is a risk having gamers develop their own game.
Yeah, it was just a weird risk. Dreams just in general was. Yeah,
But Sony wasn't even
they have a lot
behind that too much,
God of
though.
War rebooting God of War, like the way that
That
they
was a
did.
big risk. I agree.
Yeah,
That was
so
a big
I'm
risk.
like they take risks, whereas like was Halo 5 a big
But
risk?
that's not a. How I said
Was
it's a
Gears
risk consumer wise.
4 was a big risk.
I haven't played those.
But what I'm saying is like you don't even need to play them. Like
Yeah.
to be honest,
Yeah.
you don't like it's not. It's the same.
You're not really missing out, to be honest. From what
Which
I've
I'm sure they're fine games. I'm not here to shit on them, but
You just don't stack up to what Sony has.
yeah, I mean they're not like Sony tries weird shit. Like they had a Battlestar Galactica game that was, they had a sci-fi game in the making with one of the Battlestar Galactica writers on it, and obviously they canned it, but they were trying something. Things like the Dreams and like Little Big Planet, they just do these weird things where it's like Wonder Book. Right, that was one that didn't pay off.
I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Wonder Book was the storybook with the PlayStation camera, and you open it up, and it's like Harry Potter world when you open it up, and you turn the pages, and you interact with things. And
That's a good idea. Maybe.
yeah, no, it died, but that's what I'm saying. It's a risk, right? And I'm not saying not all the risks don't all pay off, but I definitely think that they take the most risk out of any like Nintendo or Xbox, right? Google took a big risk with Stadia, and that didn't pay off. So that was probably the biggest dud.
I don't know. I agree to disagree because, yeah, I agree that Sony take risk maybe more story wise, but I feel like overall elements of the games, I feel like they just grab pieces from games they already had and bundle it in together and maybe throw their own little spin on it from this IP developer.
I mean, you could
And
say
then
that
that's
about
the risk.
anybody but Kojima,
You know what I mean?
right?
I mean, you can say that about anybody. You're right. But I mean, I feel like that's what Sony really banks off of is just, oh, now we're going to take this shooter developing studio and going to make them make RPG. And they're going to have to, take the elements of games they've already made, right? Like a Naughty Dog, right? If they were to make like RPG or even something outside, like a fighting game or something outside of their normal genre, right? I feel like they would still take elements out of Last of Us or even like Uncharted. Not saying that's the same. I don't know if it's the same company or not.
Well, yeah, they are.
But they would take elements out of those games to give you a fighter or whatever the other new game is, and then you just have a combinated game.
I don't think that's the case
combinated.
at all. I mean, I feel like the reason we both think Sony's first party studios are so good is because they take the most risk and they do the most interesting things with their IP that they have instead of. I mean, think about it. You don't care about Halo. Like you don't care about Halo. Whereas like obviously you don't play about Uncharted or Last of Us, but people who played those
Like those.
Love those. Whereas like even the Halo people who are playing Halo are like, it's good, but like they're not jazzed on it. Like they're not like crazy, because they obviously the formula is changing.
Yeah.
Right. They're not keeping it stagnant in one place. God of War. I hated God of War when this new God of War came out.
Really?
I was like, I'm over it. Like he's angry. He's kind of an annoying character.
It was the same thing over and over, right?
Yeah,
just like Halo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Santa Monica Studios did exactly what Xbox
You got a
Studios have
point.
done, where it's like
got a
over and
point.
over and over again. Let's do this
Same
ultra
story.
violent sex,
Exactly.
same button mashing, right?
You got a point.
And then they completely reinvented the wheel. Where now I love God of War. Like God of War, Kratos is interesting to me again.
Do you guys remember the Outlash? Because obviously God of War Kratos was Norse mythology,
Yeah.
where they completely swapped it. There was so much backlash.
I don't remember hearing the backlash.
Yeah.
I mean, at least in my circle, it was like, yeah, fuck yeah, like that's exciting.
I never followed it close enough.
Yeah, I remember people not being happy, kind of those diehard fans that
Yeah,
wanted.
you're
to
gonna
see
have
the
those
truth.
with anything.
But
Where it's like the hardcore God of War people were like, oh, what? You're changing it. And same thing with Halo. Halo still has those people where it's
Yeah.
like, I love Halo 5. But like, generally, not great.
First of all, let's just say this now. Halo 5 was just Bungie. I mean, not Bungie. Halo 5 was just Destiny remade in the Halo universe. That's all Halo 5 was, which is why I thought it was bad, because I feel like they didn't have any more ideas to throw at the game. Yeah. They just kind of took what they already had that worked and threw it in the Halo universe.
I think Xbox is cooking up something pretty big this generation. I mean, think about
Me
all
too.
those game studios they bought. I mean,
Yeah.
Ever since Phil Spencer took over. I mean,
Exactly. I was
they
just
bought-
about to say that.
yeah.
Going back to all those studios
Yeah.
they bought, like, where are those at? Like, I hope to see more of that
I
during
hope
this
to
July
see
event.
some really, really good games out of Xbox this generation. I think with all the studios they bought, I think they're ready to cook something up.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think after going after Sony,
Yeah.
like coming after, going after
So you're
Sony.
more excited for the Xbox thing now?
No, but they have time to play catch up like Sony does, right?
True.
Was that Sony usually
True.
does. Is if they go before them, then they get to see, okay, Sony kind of underdeveloped or underperformed, or they didn't really, bring the heat, or
Points
they
they can
did bring the
capitalize
heat.
on.
We really have to bring the heat and show the X, Y, and Z. And I think we're gonna get an awesome in-depth Halo gameplay. Which is going to be really cool. Look into some multiplayer. I think we're going to see some of these studios that we haven't seen yet since they've been bought by Microsoft. But at the same time, we're going to get that from Sony too. So either way, it's a win-win. Either way, we're getting cool games. I have a PC. I might not even have to buy the Xbox.
True that. Just buy that shit. Actually, you get the Xbox Game Pass, and then you get all the Xbox games.
Yeah. So
you go.
I'm thinking I might not even get an Xbox at this point.
That's a good idea. I didn't even think about it like that. I was still low-key debating about getting an Xbox, but no, I don't want it. You just cleared that up in my head.
I'll
Appreciate
just buy an
you.
Xbox controller.
Now, do you think that's a bad thing or a good thing that you're able to do that through Windows?
I think it's a great thing for me. I think it's a bad thing for Xbox, and I think a lot of other people are going to think the way I do.
But if you think
Facts.
about it, I mean, Xbox is still making money off you. You're still
Yeah,
buying
they're
the
winning
game.
out money on software. We've
Yeah.
had this discussion quite a bit on this
Yeah.
podcast in terms of the money. The software is more profitable.
Right.
It's typically, you sell the hardware at a loss, but
Yeah.
I do think there's going to be something lost in that, especially.
Well, because I mean, at that point, you still need an Xbox Live subscription, so they're gonna get you through that. I mean, all those.
I feel like you get more invested when you have a console, though.
Yeah,
I feel like
'cause that's what it's meant for. You. Have
I
that
can't. I never
console
had
for
anything but a
gaming.
console, so
But I don't know. I feel like I think it's an interesting topic. But I definitely think that you do remove yourself a bit from the ecosystem when you take yourself away from a console.
Well, speaking of gameplay, because we were just talking about a bunch of gameplay, and we even talked about Sony taking these risks, right? So we have that Ghost of Tsushima gameplay that I know, me and you've watched a little bit. I don't know how much you've actually watched it, but there's some gameplay.
I watched the whole thing with you.
You watched the whole thing?
Yeah. Oh, I was with you. I was right here.
Well, we're gonna do it on camera
right
now.
over there.
All right, so watching this, I just want to capitalize on my points that, like, Sony, not saying this game won't be great because I'm pretty hyped for this game. It's a little bit slower looking gameplay as far as combat wise, but I feel like the elements of something like an Assassin's Creed or even like a Sekiro, right, is still here.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this is one of those game revolutionary games, but I just feel like this is what Sony's known for as far as compounding and capitalizing off the games they already had and the elements and pieces of the games they already have.
Yeah, I mean, Sucker Punch is excellent at open world. To me, this game just doesn't do it for me. Like, I'm probably gonna play it because I'm a big Sucker Punch fan. I loved all the Infamous games, like, with all my heart.
Yeah.
Sly Cooper, like, don't even get me started. But with this game, I just feel like it's slow and it's super Japanese. Where to me, I can't get into Japanese games.
I mean, I don't understand why that is. I mean, if we're talking about the things they do differently as far as what's different from any other game, which is quote unquote maybe it might be the risk that you're talking about. There's no waypoint, right? You're guided by the wind.
Yeah.
So
A weird
he doesn't know where he's going. The war of the wind blows, right?
You said
Shout out
this
to
is
Clutch.
like Journey,
Yeah.
which
that's how it
I think
reminded
it's
me
like
of.
Journey and Flower combined. Where like Flower is like all about wind and Journey was about like discovering. And,
Yeah.
you know.
I can agree with that. That's good. Can you scrub up a little bit more in the video? Because I want to
See
get
some
to the
good-
point where there's a
good-
little bit of
good-
gameplay.
Gameplay.
As far as combat.
I think it's,
Yeah, what's that right there? Where
what?
that at? Where that
Oh,
at?
no.
A little bit more?
yeah, more.
This is him praying. This is some Sekiro shit, right? Pray, get your save on, and now you're going to go into fight.
I think it's
probably.
way up. It's near the end of the thing.
Yeah, because I remember the first half of the video. Yeah, here we go. All right, here's fine. All right, what does this remind you of? Oh,
It remind- ah!
ah,
Not sponsored.
ah!
What are we doing?
Skip the ad or something.
Take it off. Something.
Look, what is this? This clearly reminds me of Assassin's Creed. You have to do shit like this.
yeah. Look. Ghost of Tsushima doesn't look like the most innovative game I think I've seen.
I'm still pretty hyped though.
I do think they are doing interesting things like not having waypoints and not having checkpoints and
But it's those little minute things that they do in games like Horizon Zero Dawn.
what are you talking about?
Like, okay, Horizon Zero Dawn, where they have, obviously the world's different. The protagonist is different, being a female-only character. Maybe mechanically, gameplay-wise, you do have different elements. Maybe little RPG moments where you have to like craft and maybe shoot this and connect it to that. Where now you're tethering this animal. But I feel like bulk for the gameplay is games we've already touched up.
Look, we can get to gameplay. Like I said, Death Stranding doesn't have the most innovative
I agree.
gameplay either.
I agree.
Like it's not going to be like life changing. I think we're past the point. But in terms of like the enemy set and how you interact with the world, and then how you interact with the enemies, and how there's different things to get around the enemies, that is what was innovative about that.
Yeah.
So obviously, yeah, gameplay in general, I feel like you're not going to get the most innovative thing out of every game. Like you're just not. Even with the most weird, innovative games in the industry, like Death Stranding, is not going to be gameplay wise like super like reinventing the dual stick. Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, in that way, yeah, no game is like that though.
I feel like we're both right, but we're arguing at different points. If that makes any sense. Like I feel like I'm talking about something else, and you're talking about
the same
something
thing.
else.
Because you're talking about how Horizon Zero Dawn's gameplay isn't innovative, and I'm agreeing with you on that. But I'm
Yeah.
saying no game is going to be that innovative. If you just break it down to the base gameplay, it has a bow. These games have a bow.
No, that's
You-
not what
you
I mean.
interact with the world, and the game feels like this. It feels like Assassin's Creed. All these other games feel like Assassin's Creed, right? Whereas that's not what was innovative about it. That's not what I was necessarily talking about it. It's the actual interaction with the world, the enemies, with the actual enemies themselves, how you can take them down, the different points, the different weapons, things like that. Where that's the innovative part.
Okay. Well, let's agree to disagree because I think we're agreeing on the same points but different angles. Would you buy another PS4 at this point in life?
Yeah. If mine went down,
If yours went down, what do you mean? Like it stopped working?
would I buy another PS4?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've seen the new Last of Us Part 2 PS4 exclusive
Yeah.
limited edition console. It looks pretty fucking clean. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah. Not gonna buy it.
You wouldn't get this one? Look, this would be a perfect idea to get this PlayStation, right? During Corona, definitely going to be a hot commodity, right? You hold it, you incubate it, don't even take it out the box. Then maybe like a month or two before the PS5 drops, after they announce the release date for the PS5, sell that bitch for like $700. You're good.
You're part of the problem.
What problem?
Look, I had the PS5. I had the PS5. I had the PS4 100 millionth edition, whatever.
Yeah, you had
500
one of the
millionth.
super exclusive ones.
Yeah, which was crazy. I was super glad I got it. I had to sell it at one point.
How much you sell it for?
The same price I bought it for, because I'm a good guy, and this is just how this works.
Look, I
I'm
don't
not
think
gonna
it
sell
has
for
anything to do.
$2,000. I sold it to who did I sell it to? I think I sold it to the wannabe critic. I think that's who ended up buying it from me. But I was like, look, I need the money right now. I was like, I'll sell it to you for exactly what I got it for. And then he was like, oh, that's like, oh, thank you. Like, you know, these are super hard to
he
get.
probably didn't believe you.
And it's like $2,000 to get one of these. Because to me, it's like, look, this is something where I don't want this going to a reseller for them to resell it. Or like a collector who's not really going to give a fuck about it. I want somebody who appreciates it and who actually enjoys this and who actually is a fan. And it's even better if it's somebody I somewhat know, right?
But I think by you selling it like at that $2,000 rate is you appreciate it, right? That's appreciation. Like if someone's willing to buy it for that much, that's appreciation.
Why'd you buy in the first place?
I wanted to appreciate it. Like it was a super cool collectible item. I like collectible shit, as you can see. And that's something where I was like, this would be super cool to have. Like, this is something that people are going to be like, it's almost like the black PS1,
I never.
what they call it? Something rosy? Anyway, like a dev kit PS1. And
Yeah.
I remember wanting it so bad. And then
Never got it.
because they were so hard to get. But I remember like thinking like if I had it, like that would be that's like a piece of like history. Same thing with the Pocket Station.
So what's the problem? You say I'm part of the problem.
I
There's
like
no
shit like
problem.
You're selling it for way more than it is.
What do you mean? I'm
You're
selling
part
it
of
for the value
you're-
of what it is.
You're the scalper, essentially.
The scalper of what? The
People just want
PlayStation
to go
holds
enjoy
value.
watch Kevin Hart perform, and you're out here selling for $700.
It's a limited edition.
Think it
I gotta
costs
treat it
$35.
like such. Therefore, if you want it, I gotta treat it like it's
Hey, we're just
limited.
different people. It's okay. I'm for the people. You're not. And
I'm
let's
for
just
the people.
remember that.
Just
Cheeks
the people
Jr.
gotta
on
be
Twitter.
for me because I got something valuable because it's limited. You know, I'm not gonna just give my limited possession away for what I
you
got
can
it
give it
for
away.
like it's a normal piece.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a normal piece. This is the Last of Us Part 2 limited
We haven't even
edition.
gotten into that.
Let's watch this real quick because this bitch looks clean as fuck. And I don't know if this is a new trailer in the game, for the game. Doesn't look like a trailer. Let me just shut up.
You have no idea
Sold.
what you're walking into.
Sold.
I said it's old.
You don't know
This is
how
old.
large that group is, how armed.
Damn, did you get hit with the door?
I don't care.
I want to know what these mean. I want to know what that means.
So subtle but so clean
Yeah,
at the same
can-
time. I fuck with that.
Can we stop putting game logos on shit?
Why?
Unless it's Crash Bandicoot. But I'm over it. Like the controller with The Last of Us on it. It's like, don't put that on there. You don't need that.
They put the little leaf on the handle.
Yeah, but then you right in the middle it has the PlayStation or it has the Last of Us logo.
What's wrong with that? That even means like
I like the subtleness. I don't like the in your face. Like look at the hard drive that they sell with it too. Like it has The Last of Us on it. Just don't give me that. Just give me something subtle.
Attached? That's new.
And then Last of Us is right there on the front, isn't it?
Yeah, like where you the disc tray is.
Yeah. Did I say The Last of Us? Yeah.
Last of Us Part 2.
It would just be better if you didn't have that.
But that wouldn't let you know what this is from. Like that's an indication on what this is. I mean, of course, as a collector,
Look,
you know.
if you're a
but
collector, you know. You don't need.
What do you guys think about
look,
it?
but
though?
this is-
What do you guys think about it?
I don't like it.
I fuck with it. I like the little like not even Game of Thrones. What's it called?
What is that? Like a branch? A tree?
What's the
branch?
name of the Hunger Games? That's what it reminds me of. Little Hunger Games, kind of like how you had the little hummingbird, but like it's the leaf from Last of Us. I fuck with
What
it.
is that leaf? I've never played The Last of Us.
I never played Last of Us either.
That's not part of
No.
anything yet. I'm sure they're gonna explain that in the next.
Yeah, maybe it's a
next game.
symbol for the new game.
I think it's a tattoo, but I don't know.
In
what
my
it
opinion,
resembles.
it looks a little underwhelming. It's very underwhelming, actually. You think for what I think might be the last custom PS4 that we see,
Oh, I see what you did there.
I think it's a little disappointing because all it is really just a.
Adrian got some knee slappers, y'all.
Yeah, knee slapper, it's true. I mean, it's not the Spider-Man.
No,
one.
he made a pun on it being the last.
Oh.
Yeah, you missed it. Knee slap.
I think my personal favorite out of this generation from PS4 is either I would say the Darth Vader one from Star Wars Battlefront,
That one's dope.
that one was pretty cool, or the
I
Spider-Man
wanted to get
one.
the God of War one so bad.
The Spider-Man one was pretty good, the red one. With
God
the
of
white
War was
Yeah,
the Spider-Man one.
was hot.
I'm
I copped
glad
that
I
bitch.
got
I
that.
have one.
I'm leaning more towards the Star Wars one with Darth Vader on it, just because I think that one looks so badass. But it's just,
But that PlayStation anniversary one you had that was light blue with the motherfucking like see-through shit, that was definitely top of the line. I don't know why you gave that away.
That one was. Look. You need money sometimes. I want to
I
get one
get
back.
you. You could have had a lot more money than what you had.
I had the Spider-Man one and that one back to back because they came out around the same time.
Yeah.
I got both. And here's the deal. Sometimes you hit hard times. It's just items.
I mean,
And
life comes at
obviously
you.
I'm bummed. I had to get rid of it. I got rid of both of them. And then I eventually got a Spider-Man one in my miss again. And Comp Andreas has that old PS4. I'm gonna buy it off him. Watch it.
I think didn't he get one of the
Once the
500
PS5
whatever
comes
shit?
out, yeah, he got one too.
Does he still have it?
Yes. That's why he sold
Compa.
me his Spider-Man one.
He's probably gonna sell that one for 2,000
So
when the
I'm
PS5 drops.
No, when the PS5 comes out, I know I'm gonna buy it from that bitch. I'm gonna talk him into it.
I'm gonna buy it first.
No, you're not.
Do you think
I'm
they
not.
didn't put too much effort into this because the PS5 is
too
coming
much.
out?
What was the question? I'm sorry.
I said, do you think they're not putting too much effort into this one? Because I mean, it doesn't look like they put too much effort into it just because the PS5 is coming out and they know people.
No,
Well,
I
what do
think
you
this one
want?
looks cool,
Yeah, what do you want them to do? Like,
but it's for people who care about it.
I mean,
But with any collectible.
it doesn't really set itself apart. Like, compared
like,
to
do you
the
want
other
like a
ones.
sticker on top that says "Last of Us" and her riding a horse? Like, what do you want?
I mean, I don't know, something cooler than a tree branch.
You don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
How are you gonna say
And
it's
you,
not
you,
cool?
you haven't played The Last of Us. You have no connection to this franchise.
Look,
Of course
you
you're
can-
not gonna get it.
You can see
Same
that
reason I'm not gonna get the Gears of War fucking thing.
the Death Stranding limited edition one wasn't that amazing either. Gears of War was actually I ain't gonna lie to you. The Gears of War like limited edition Xbox, that shit was kind of
But
hot.
what I'm saying is, you want these because you care about it. I wanted the Spider-Man one because I like fucking Spider-Man. I wanted the fucking God of War one because the fucking. I mean, I didn't want it, but like if the Star Wars one looked dope because I like Star Wars.
That's true.
Obviously, you don't want a fucking Darth Vader fucking thing if you don't give a fuck about Star Wars.
Mr. Dab's got nothing to say. All right. Well,
That's me.
I think I
agreeing
got
with
one more
him.
piece of news.
He has a good point there. Because I would never want this Last of Us one, but the Star Wars one is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So,
I feel it.
oh,
All right. Well,
That was a good pregnant pause. Thanks for that.
I didn't know you guys were gonna stop talking. I'm sorry. All right. Well, this has been invite only. Like I said, you can catch us. What is it? What's today? Tuesday? Tomorrow, Wednesday at 10 a.m. You can catch the episode if you didn't catch this episode live. It will be up tomorrow on youtube.com/playeverything at 10 a.m. for you to look at there, listen to on podcast services around the globe, iTunes, Spotify, all that good stuff. We're going to be there. My name is Shawn Flowers, a.k.a. That Kid Flowers. Here next to me, I have Cheeks Jr. at Cheeks_Jr.
Follow me at Cheeks_Jr. Go ahead and watch all my shows. I got to do completely consensual going on right here at youtube.com/playeverything every Monday live as we watch ridiculous clips and talk about the gossip of the week. That goes live at 7 p.m. Every Monday and then goes live on podcast and YouTube on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. And then Tech Fever, as always, we record on Wednesdays and launch on Thursdays at 10 a.m.
That means Tech Fever records tomorrow. Send your questions over to techfeverpodcast@gmail.com.
Yep.
If you got something to say, got anything else to add? We good?
No, I'm good.
Any plugs?
Nope.
Anybody plugging? All right. Thanks for
excited
watching.
for the next generation. So,
How you gonna say something after you said no? You said you had nothing to plug.
God damn it.
Drop some sparks in the comments right now if you're watching live. Appreciate you for watching. Signing out.